Hello, analytics-driven strategy community. I'm really excited to be here today. So this is my third LinkedIn Live. So yeah, this is me, my host, your host, El-Wakeel. I create strategies and ecosystems for successful data and analytics transformations. I have more than 10 years of experience across the whole EMEA region, and I've worked in different industries like automotive. Um, I've worked in hospitality. I've worked in IT. I've worked in consulting. So that's a bit about myself. So let's dive into today's topic. Or first, let me say something before today's topic. I have an important announcement. So let me share. Yeah, I think I'm sharing my screen. So yes, LinkedIn Live now is available on podcasts. So I've been working on this project for a while now, and I'm quite excited that it finally came to life. So LinkedIn Live, you can obviously join me, and please feel free to chat, send me messages now, so I can respond, or if you have any questions. So obviously you can join live and join discussion. Equally, if you want to listen to the replay, you can listen to it on the podcasts now. And it's available on Google, on Spotify, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public, and obviously on Apple. So I'm so excited about that because it's a project that I've been working on it for a while now, and it's finally live. I'll always release like a month, so you can listen to the live first Thursday of every month. But equally, you can listen to the replay a month later. So this is when I'm going to release it. But yeah, that announcement went out on LinkedIn a couple of days ago, and I'm so excited about it. So, shall we start today's topic? So as I explained before, the LinkedIn Live the reason why I started it has always been to share the knowledge. And this is the reason why I have the analytics-driven strategy. I want to raise awareness about analytics-driven strategy and raise awareness more about analytics in companies and how to best utilize it. So I'll always have it a month where I'll be speaking about a topic where I think it's important or based on your questions or feedback. Equally, I'll have a host. As a host, I'll have a guest. And my guest would be an author who's done a book that I feel really worth sharing with the community. And it is important, like last month, I had Matthew Lunn with his book about storytelling, where I believe that is really important. It's such a great book. And if you haven't listened to the episode and what he said, please go and listen to it now. Seriously, the advice that he gave was amazing. He has a 20-year experience in Pixar. He worked on Toy Story, on The Simpsons, and it was just such a great episode. So this is how my LinkedIn Live would work. And today I've really based it on one of the questions that were sent to me. So let me have a bit of my coffee because, yeah, I need to drink something. So today's topic is a very important topic. And let me share. So if you're listening to me live now, please share with me, say hello, tell me where you're from or where you're listening from, because that'd be brilliant. I want to get to know the people who are listening live. And obviously, if you're listening on replay, just still send me a text and I'll definitely respond. So the topic of today is the three main data analytics organizational models. And I've received so many questions about the data and analytics organizational models. Some people have even asked me, like, they don't know how their own companies are organized and what is the best practice when it comes to organizations setting up analytics, because it's quite challenging. And there are three main data analytics organizations, structures. Having said that, there are different variations of them. And there isn't a right or wrong answer. So the three of them are there for a reason, obviously. And they are quite successful depending, obviously, on the size of the company, because you have small, medium, and multinationals, you have private, you have public, you have government, and you have different sectors. So today I'll share a bit about those three main organizational structures, and I'll also share a bit more about where it is best to use which, so that at least hopefully you would know what is the structure in your own organization. And if you're switching companies or you're in a discussion, you're in a networking session, now everything is virtual, but hopefully we'll get to see each other one day. You can still understand how it is different from how your company operates. So let me share my screen again. If you're listening on the podcast, I'll still explain it in a way where you can easily understand it. So don't worry about that. So in today's topic, I'll be referring to a few sources that I've used, and they are quite interesting reports from BCG, from Deloitte, Gartner, and others. I'll share them in the link below, so you'll find them after the podcast. But basically, there are three main organizational structures when it comes to analytics. Sometimes it's called digital in organizations. Well, it depends on really what is under digital. But there are three main ways to structure organizational structures when it comes to data analytics. You have the decentralized method on one of the spectrums, and at the other end you have the decentralized. And as you can guess from the name, they are quite different. So the centralized is obviously where you have everything in the center. And the center can be an own function and an own analytics center of excellence, or it can be a center of excellence under a main function. It can sit sometimes under strategy, sometimes under IT, sometimes it's under finance because they believe it has a lot of numbers. So you'll find this different. Sometimes it's under commercial. The reason why they think there's a lot of analytics done for customers. So some companies believe it sits under commercial. So this is when you have a center. This is an area. This is where analytics is done. Sometimes you have cross-charge. So if it sits under strategy, for example, or it sits under IT, or it has its own CDO, Chief Data Officer, and it sits alone, sometimes they say, oh, you know what, we're going to do this piece of work for finance, and then we cross-charge it, and so on. So this is the centralized. And in centralized, you can expect that all the data engineering, the data science, visualization, it's all centered. It's all in one place. So that is one model. The other model is on the other side, which is the decentralized. So it's kind of complete opposite. So you can expect that analytics is done in every single area of the business. And maybe you'd have data scientists, data engineers sitting around functions. Normally, this kind of shows kind of maturity because everyone speaks analytics somehow and they understand what's going on. They're aware of how the data is structured. So that is the other extreme, where everything is decentralized and everything is working like maturely in an organization. The bit in the middle is when you have a hybrid model. And this sometimes people or some reports say that sometimes this is when the company is on a maturity curve, like in the middle, really. It is not very mature, but it is not very, it's not starting from scratch either. Which means that you have an analytics center of excellence, but you have analytics areas in each of the functions. So you might have analytics center of excellence in finance, you have one in commercial, you have one in purchasing, you have one in engineering, and they're kind of dotted to each other. So this is the third organizational structure. As I said, there are variations of those. So you have models like consulting models where it can be a centralized, but there is a consulting piece in it where they cross-charge and so on. According to Deloitte's report, Organizational Analytics from Inside Out, 42% of the company have established center analytics groups. 58% have more decentralized approaches with limited or no central coordination. As I said, as much as this report kind of explains the percentage available, as much as for me, it's kind of questionable. Have all companies kind of really at a maturity level at this stage? Again, it depends on the maturity of the company. So if the company is really mature and it can handle a decentralized organization, then that's perfect. So this is a bit, as I said, like today it's a bite chunk. So I'm just really explaining a topic that I had so many questions sent in my inbox about it. And again, if you're listening, please comment on the chat and send me your thoughts or tell me what your organization actually is working. Is it centralized? Is it hybrid? Is it decentralized? And if you're listening in the podcast or on replay, just please also share with me this information. I'm quite curious to know what organizations are doing. So this is, in this screen, just really a wrap up. As I said, the first, it's more of like the whole BCG really figure, because I took a part of it in my first slide. So this slide, I'm really just showing the whole thing where it kind of explains, as I said, the Central of Excellence here, and you have CDO, the CEO at the top, you have the Chief Data Officer with the analytic function beneath reporting to him. You have different function, which is completely centralized. Again, variations of it can be a consulting. The other extreme is a decentralized, where you have functions with a central of excellence sitting beneath each of the functions. And the bit in the middle is the hybrid. Again, this shows you the complexity. The more obviously decentralized, the more the digital strategy and the analytics strategy is very complex, because you have it in the function, you have it embedded somehow in the DNA of the company. The level of digital maturity is quite, the level of digital maturity is quite high in the decentralized, but the digital strategy, as I said, yeah, the first step, it is very high in decentralized, because when you want to push the data analytics in, it is quite complex. You have to build communities. You have to agree on ways of doing business. So that's why the complexity is high in the centralized, the maturity is high in the decentralized, and in the governing model, obviously, you can see here, yeah, centralized versus decentralized. So the more centralized it is, the more high. So this is the topic of today, which is organization structures when it comes to data and analytics in organizations. As I said, I've received so many questions about this topic that it was unbelievable. And I thought, well, you know what, I had to put this in this session. So let me know your thoughts. Feel free to text me. Those are the social media that I'm available on, or I'm on. As I said, I'm more active on LinkedIn, just because, I don't know, somehow I feel it's easier, and somehow I get a lot of knowledge from what I read. So feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, share with me your thoughts, share with me your experience, and yeah, hopefully next session I'll have a great author with a great book. I'll be announcing it soon. It's really one of the best books I've read when it comes to strategy, in analytic strategies, and yeah, I'm quite excited to have him. I'll announce it soon with more details. So see you next month on the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. on LinkedIn Live. And yeah, feel free to listen to the replay of this episode on the podcasts. And thank you very much for being here today. See you.